Hello and welcome to the Life at Leyton podcast with me, Sarah Glanville, as your host. Here at Leyton UK, we know our people are more than just their job. The careers of our people are part of their unique lives, and who they are as a whole person is what fundamentally contributes to their success and the success of our business. In the podcast, we'll spend time with some of our exceptional people from across the business. And in each episode, we'll look to explore the people behind the job titles, the unique and brilliant stories that make them who they are. Today's episode wraps up season 1 of the Life at Leyton podcast. It's hard to believe that we've been dropping episodes every few weeks since the start of the year, and the podcast has truly evolved throughout its 16 episodes into something pretty special and unique in the business podcasting space. For today's conversation, it only felt right to bring my fellow talent acquisition team members onto the podcast to chat through what this year has been like for them, to talk about our achievements and looking forward into 2024. What you'll hear in today's episode is a real insight into the small but mighty team that has collectively sought, engaged and secured 106 people to join Leyton UK in the last 12 months. So thank you for tuning in. Grab yourself a coffee and get ready to be inspired by the people that are Leyton UK. Hello to you team, welcome to the Life at Leyton podcast. Thank you all for joining me today. To start us off today, can you all introduce yourselves to our listeners? Nicola, do you want to start?
Yes. Woohoo! It's nearly Christmas. I am Nicola Plenderleith and I'm the Head of Talent Acquisition for Leyton.
Thanks for joining us, Nicola. And Danielle?
Yep, so I'm Danielle Hunter. I'm a TA partner here at Leyton, based up in Glasgow.
And Finn?
Hello everybody, I'm Finn, Senior TA Partner based in London.
I am so excited that you've all joined me on the podcast today. This podcast really is a talent acquisition team project, but Finn and Danielle, you've managed to avoid jumping into the podcast this far. And Nicola, it has been a very long time since you joined me for that very first introductory episode. Nicola, I guess the first question I'd love to throw it to you. When we were first talking about starting a podcast for our talent community, did you see it evolving into the Life at Leyton podcast that it is today?
Honestly, Sarah, no. I think when you and I first sat and talked about the whole concept of having a podcast that was really designed to be a space for people, for our staff to have a voice, that was really what we started with. And in many ways, it's kind of become like an education piece almost. We've learned so much about the people who've participated, whether that's running marathons or mental health awareness. There's been so many different subjects that we've covered that maybe I didn't think that we would get to when we first started. So yeah, I would say I didn't expect it to take off the way that it has, but I'm really pleased that we did it and that we continue to record these sessions. And even just the reach of it, like when you recently pulled the data of where our listeners are, I think I just always assumed that they would be in one of our office locations, right? But we're seeing listeners in Australia, New Zealand, across Asia, countries that we don't even operate in as a business. So I couldn't be happier with how it's gone. And I'm really grateful to you for sort of carrying that torch the last 12 months.
It's been a really fun project to take part in, and I think, like you've said, it's just given everyone a real insight into the people that work here, and they're amazing. Like, it's just nice to highlight the incredible people that we have working for us and the things that make them who they are outside of the work that they do every day.
I think we're probably one of the only organisations, sort of corporate organisations, that use a podcast in this manner. We didn't do this in a bid to sell Leyton services to clients or whatever else. It was really designed to figure out what our culture was. And I think it's only enhanced our culture. And I think over the last 12 months, we've seen people become, more willing to share their stories, more willing to be open. I hope that's because more people feel like they belong and more people can see that the company genuinely cares about them.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to sum up what it's turned into over the last 12 months. The podcast really is only one small part of what we've achieved here as a team in 2023. Looking over the past year, what has been the most memorable moments or achievements for the talent acquisition team? Danielle, do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, I was thinking about this over the weekend. And for me, the most memorable moment was that day we had as a team down, and I can't remember where we were now, Stevenage, having our strategy day. And I think first couple of months for me, I was still finding my feet. I think really at that point, I realised why I had accepted the role here. Lots of opportunity to get involved in an overall TA strategy, and was really excited about the year ahead. So for me, that sticks out as a day where we really gelled as a team, got to know each other a little bit better, and really understood what we were here to do throughout this financial year.
I love that day. And it's nice to see the things kind of come into life that we all spoke about building that TA strategy out.
I have a request, Sarah, when we put this podcast out into the ether, can we also include the photograph of Danielle hanging out of the window of the hotel that we stayed in? And I use the word hotel loosely for those listening. Let's just say it was a little bit like the Bates Motel.
I know, I said I was excited that I was getting to know you all a little bit better, but yeah, I think you really got to see the real me over those couple of days.
Yeah, I think that's a bonding session, surviving that experience at that hotel. Finn, what's been your most memorable moment or the greatest achievement that you think we've had as a team this year?
Yeah, I think I guess just got to look at the journey of the team. 12 months ago the team didn't exist really. So I'm the longest serving member of the TA team now, just coming up to about 18 months. And yeah, the last 12 months since obviously Nicola joining shortly after me, then both Danielle and Sarah, it's just been incredible. So much to do, and I think we've made a really good stab at it. What Danielle was mentioning there about the trip to Stevenage, it was a big, essentially strategy day for the TA team, where we looked at what we wanted to achieve and how we were going to do it. Basically, fast forward coming to the end of this year, it's just been amazing to see how much we have achieved. It hasn't been easy, for sure, but just looking at that whole journey has been, it's been amazing. I'm really pleased we're really looking forward to what next year will bring as well.
Do you have anything to add on from a leadership perspective, Nicola?
Oh gosh. Well, this is where I could get a bit soppy, so you might need to have the tissues handy, but I think anyone who steps into a sort of head of department or a leadership role in a new company, it can always be a little bit overwhelming, especially if you inherit a team. I had the real pleasure of being able to rebuild this team. I was lucky that Finn was here when I came in, and then finding you and Danielle just helped enhance that. And I know a lot of people in the industry who've not been as lucky, who've maybe struggled to find the right people for their teams. So for me, I think the most memorable moments have been when we've all been together, like the day in Stevenage that you guys mentioned, like our trip to Wreckfest, like the work we did in Paris with our French colleagues. We all are really keen to do a great job in our respective roles, and I think that we rub off on each other in a really nice way. So everything we do collectively are the bits that I love the most.
Me too. I think as well, like, it's been, everyone always talks about Leyton time and how you are in the business and collectively it feels like forever, and it's also rushes past like all at once, and it's coming up to the year that we've been here now, Danielle, and I feel like even when we joined, I know that you'd been in the business for a few months at that point, Nicola, and I think that you'd been very, very honest with us about what we were walking into and the challenges that we were going to face to get ourselves into a position that we could even be sitting down in the midway through this year having a strategy day about what we wanted a strategy to look like for TA. It was still in quite a reactive state of, we had a lot of vacancies that we needed to fill, and we had to do a lot of work to get ourselves in a position to start thinking strategically and looking forward. So I think that when we look back in the last 12 months, like, to be in a position halfway through the year to look forward strategically was amazing, and then to be at the end of the year now and actually see those strategies come to life and some of the projects that we set in place be achieved or partway achieved or in the process of being achieved is amazing. And that's just down to everyone working together and making the most of everyone's strengths. It's a brilliant team to be a part of.
Yeah, definitely.
So none of you are very good at self-promotion, so I'm going to put you all on the spot now, and I'd love for you to share a personal highlight or accomplishment from the past year that you're particularly fond of. So Finn, do you want to start?
Yeah, so personal achievement. I think a couple of things I'd probably just want to talk about. Big changes to at the SD recruitment and what we've done there. So I'm certainly quite proud of where that is now. I can't say it's all been me. It's certainly been a team effort. There was a period where everybody was supporting SD recruitment. There was a period where Sarah was leading on it and did a fantastic job, managed to hire some really good people. So yeah, I think really pleased to continue that the SD side. I think another area as well. Yeah, well, I think it has to be said on the capital allowances side, a lot of changes in the CA team this year. Notoriously tough market to hire in. Never quite seen a market like it, to be completely honest, because before Leyton, I was completely unaware of capital allowances as a benefit and what it meant for businesses in the industry and how it worked and everything else. So big learning curve. Managed to recruit 2 great people now, completely new faces of the team in Brad and Ryan, and likely more to come as well. So really pleased to be part of that and to see where the growth continues in that CA team. So I'd say they're probably kind of two massive really exciting points for me. One more thing as well, I think this is certainly a team effort, so I'm not going to say this is a personal achievement. This is another team one, but we all contribute individually. But I think it has to be said about the referrals. We are pushing that. It was a really important pillar of our strategy conversations that we were talking to you about earlier on this year, about how we change that and what it means. And massive improvements on that side. Thank you to all the people who have reached out and referred people in. Please continue it. Not all referrals, we won't have the right job for all the referrals. Some referrals we'll need to speak with, but maybe consider later down the year when the time is right for both sides. But it is always good just to have that. And great response from the wider business on referrals from the more junior people in the business all the way up into the more senior leadership team as well. So yeah, a couple of really good achievements there. So well done to the TA team for that.
Love how you turned that self promotion question into celebrating the team again. Yeah. Danielle, what has been your personal highlight this year?
Yeah, so for me, there's been a couple of things. I think making the hire for our Bristol team leader role. And again, it was Finn and I kind of joint effort in a really tough market in Bristol. But we managed to get a key hire over the line who's performing really well and driving that function forward. But also some really good hires in the summer in the London sales team. So we've been struggling to get some good hires, the right people into the business, and we done it in the summer, and again they've all been performing really well, and I think that was a turning point for me personally when those people started. So yeah, a couple of things for me. More of a team one. We've implemented a new ATS system. That's been a big project. It's not finished. We've still got lots of work to do, but I think that's another achievement within the team.
You've taken a lead on that as well with the iSIMS integration, and it's been
a team effort, because there's been lots of other tasks that I had to put aside for a couple of months, and everyone within the team took on additional responsibility to allow me to focus on doing that. So that's why I think it's a team achievement.
So rubbish at self congratulations, but no, I agree. I did, Danielle. It has been a team effort, but you'd have taken a lead on that, and it's been a very smooth process, actually, from my perspective. I know it hasn't been from you, from your perspective, but it's been
lots
smooth.
More grey hairs now, Sarah.
What about you, Sarah? What's been your personal highlight?
I actually haven't prepared answers.
You can't just be the host of this one.
It's been a bit of a laugh and joke between me and Nicola, that I kind of came in and there was a bit of a nondescript job spec around what it was I was in to do. I was in to build up the talent community for Leyton UK, and that was the kind of brief. And I feel like through the year I've turned this space into something meaningful, like the space that I'm occupying around talent engagement and building up a talent community and building up our employer brand a little bit more than we had before. And that I've turned the opportunity I had to come into the business and create something. I think I've created something that's actually really impacting us as a team and then the wider business. I've kind of see my function within the team to make everyone else's job as easy as possible, so we attract the right talent. So when Finn and Danielle have the conversations with candidates, it's the right people that they have in front of them, and they have the tools and resources to be able to sell Leyton to them effectively. And yeah, I think I could have come in and been a little bit lost without direction, but I've been able to come in and make something out of a real blank page, and I'm really proud of that. And yeah, it's been amazing to be part of this team. I just think that
you've done an amazing job on that front, Sarah. I know that you're saying that part of your role is to try and make things easier for us when we're engaging with talent, but even another step on from that, when we're speaking to people and they're able to look at some of the videos that you've created, some of the content that lots of other companies don't have, candidates really appreciate it, and it goes a long way.
Thanks. Nicola, it's your turn. What's been your personal highlight?
I don't quite know how to follow up after the three of you. What's been my personal highlight? A really kind of clear vision of what I wanted this team to do, even before I knew who the people in the team were going to be. And every one of you have over exceeded my expectations. And you've allowed what's been in my brain to come to life. And that's really special. Like, that's something that we should all be proud of. We do have our challenges. And I think sometimes people can look at our team and maybe think that we've got it easy, or maybe not fully understand all of the different parts of talent acquisition. And that's okay. But I do think it's worth noting that you all have tremendously difficult jobs, and you have to really think creatively and think ambitiously about how we're not only going to attract the right talent to Leyton, but how we're going to secure them. You know, that the recruitment landscape is ever changing for candidates. Their needs, their wants, their expectations are ever changing, and it can be really hard to kind of close the gap. So for all of the new hires that have joined us in the last 12 months, welcome, obviously, but thank you for choosing us. And I know through the feedback that I get from your stakeholders and through the feedback we get from our candidate experience benchmarking that a lot of the time the reason our new joiners pick Leyton is because of each of you. So that's what makes me most happy.
Oh, but where are those tissues?
Just wait till I throw another KPI at you, Finn. It'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. Touche.
He'll still be crying then. Different reasons.
Yeah, true.
Different type of cry.
No, I think that's a really important point is how much the landscape changes for us. Like, it's never, whenever you think we're on top of what the landscape looks like in talent acquisition, it changes, whether that's what candidates are wanting or what our competitors are doing, or just the economy, the job market. Things are well out with our control. And I guess when we stand and look back at what we have achieved this year as a team, the common theme that I can see is that we have to just be at the forefront of the change in talent acquisition industry. If you think about the work that I've been given the opportunity to do, it's not something that everyone else does, has someone sitting in a talent engagement role. And that's something that Leyton have invested in, and it's putting us in a position to reach the right talent and reach the right people who are right for the roles that we have here. With that TA landscape changing kind of constantly, what do we think the challenges we're going to face next year might be? Nicola, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah. Let me think. What do I think the challenges from an ever-changing TA landscape are going to be? I think we're going to continue to see a demand for flexibility in different shapes than perhaps what organisations have been used to. Most companies are either fully remote, hybrid, or fully in office. It's rare that you get a kind of combination, but I see a bigger push to full-time office work. I see that returning in a lot of organisations, and I think that is going to change the landscape for people. I think those who are currently fully remote or hybrid may find that they need to make changes themselves. But it's going to be an interesting year to see how that rolls out. Ultimately, the big thing that I think continues to change is that people are looking for work with purpose. Like, we all get up and we go to work for our salary or commission or what have you, but more and more when we talk to candidates of varying degrees of experience, they all want to do something that matters, or they want to work for an organisation that is doing something that matters. And that's where Leyton can get better at sharing the impact of the work that we do. So yes, we are a financial consultancy, and yes, we are a corporate business that has to meet the demands of being a corporate business, but there's so much more than that, and the reach that we have as an organisation to impact companies can sometimes be underrepresented or undervalued, and that plays into the work that we do from a social responsibility perspective too. So I think the biggest thing we'll see next year is more people looking for that purpose, and we have to get better at communicating what Leyton's purpose is, so that we continue to attract good people.
Yeah, I completely agree. Danielle, Finn, do you guys have anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I think that just adding on to Nicola's point about what people are looking for, I think we're seeing more and more candidates who are looking to work in an environment where there's diversity, where different types of people are represented. And I think that the work that we're doing behind the scenes, we've got different initiatives on social mobility, hiring females. There's lots of initiatives that we're working on that I think will feed into what's important to candidates when they're looking for a new role as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a great comment, actually, Danielle. Sorry to jump in there, Sarah, but we talk about this latent value of belonging, and a lot of us do feel it, but you don't get belonging without inclusion, and you don't get inclusion without diversity of thought and diversity of backgrounds, diversity of experience. So You're absolutely spot on with that, Danielle.
We're very lucky to go to RecFest this year, where new ideas, new technologies within the TA and recruitment space are discussed. I think it was really good to see that a lot of the things that we are doing are considered contemporary best practice in our industry. A lot of the things that we're starting to do, we either started already or planning to start maybe halfway through. Some of them, we've done a really good job on, but I think just trying to keep abreast of all changes, trying to keep in the forefront of what our industry sees as best practice, really, really important.
Yeah, I agree. I think we, as a team, we've proven to be pretty agile, and I think we just need to continue to work that way and to lean into change. Like, things are going to change, and there are going to be challenges, but to lean into that and to expect it and to try and capitalize on it. So a big thing that I hear a lot when I listen to webinars or podcasts on the future of TA is of course the same thing that's affecting everyone else, and that's the introduction of AI and how that'll impact what it is that we do. And there's a lot of fear, I think, across the industry on how that'll impact our role. I love it. I think it's exciting. I think that we can use it as an opportunity to connect with people more if we allow the systems and the technology and the AI to do all the mundane bits that take us away from connecting to people. We can do all the work that showcases who we are as a company and why people would want to work for us. We can do that connection piece, that human connection piece, whilst the tech takes over the backlog of the admin stuff, which I think is pretty exciting, and I'm looking forward to being able to capitalize on that as tech continues to progress at a scary rate. And I think that we'll be in a very different place at this time next year, but I have no doubt with the way that we face into change and that we have shown to be flexible, that we'll be in hopefully a much better place again at the end of 2024 because of all of the change that we're able to sort of take advantage of. So bringing this back to our work at Leyton UK, I think the perfect place for us to end the final episode of 2023 is by giving our listeners a bit of insight into the agenda for 2024. So what do you guys see as our key focus for us as a team and for yourselves as individuals? Danielle, do you want to start on that one?
Yeah, for me as an individual, next year is really about driving the relationships forward with my internal stakeholders, making sure that we are really closely aligned. We all want the same thing from the hires that we bring into the business. So making sure we're focusing on that, and just continue to deliver the best results, bring in the best people, hiring for potential, as we always say.
Yeah.
And what do you think on that question?
Yeah, I think still a lot to do. Keep on pushing referrals. I don't know if I've mentioned that already, but still a really massive one for us. Great way to recruit, and I think we really are starting to see the results of how effective and great referrals into business can be. I think you raised a really good point, Danielle, with I think really getting close to our stakeholders, really trying to keep at the forefront of what we're doing, being aware of the industry, being responsive to changes as quickly as we can, trying to be ahead of the curve as best we can with any kind of big changes that happen. So a lot to do as we go into the final quarters of next year. I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Nicola, what is on your agenda for 2024?
My agenda never seems to get shorter, it only seems to get longer. So yeah, we might be at the end of calendar year 2023, but we are only coming to the end of H1 of our financial year, as you guys know. So H2 is critically important for the business and therefore for us as part of the people team. So a big part of sort of January, February, March will be the introduction and rollout of our new talent acquisition training that Katie from the training and development team is supporting us with. And I think that will go a long way to standardising our formats and ensuring fairness across all candidates' experiences, regardless of the role they've applied for. But I think it will also help build confidence with new managers or those that maybe haven't interviewed as much in their career. So I'm excited to kind of get that over the line and start delivering it. Of course, we always want to make sure we're bringing the right people in at the right time. For me, that's a no-brainer. But I am now quite future focused, and I'm thinking about what do we need to do to make sure that Leyton continues to evolve, that in 5 years' time, our people practices will be solid and stable, and that we will always have the right talent coming in. So part of that will be connected to the social mobility work that we'll be doing in the new year, which will help us try to give opportunities to underrepresented communities or to those who maybe wouldn't traditionally have an entry point into a career in finance or consultancy. We've got a few career events coming up as well, which I always love. I love it when we get some time face to face with people. So there's a lot going on in the second half of the year, and part of that will be looking even further into the future. So what does our next financial year look like, and what are the key priorities for our people at that stage? So yeah, it's going to be good. Get lots of rest over Christmas. We're never done. Yeah. We never stop. We never stop.
And I think that's why I love working in talent acquisition, because you're never finished. There's always something. Yeah, so I'm excited for the second half of the year, or the beginning of 2024. And yeah, I think that it's crazy to think about how much has changed this year and stuff, and it just, I think it's impossible to think about the year as a whole next year. I think we just do need to focus on the final 2 quarters of the financial year, the first 2 quarters of the calendar year, and just, I think we've still got a few things that we want to achieve, of course. So hopefully we'll get through that in the next 6 months, and then we can figure out what's going on at the end of the year. Is there anything that anyone else wants to add before we finish the podcast today?
Thanks for sticking with it. Thanks for digging deep when you need to, and a bit like our sales functions, we always have rejections every day, and it can be quite hard to be resilient and pick yourself back up, but you all do it really well. And every challenge that we face, and every challenge that I'm sure we will continue to face, we'll always find a way.
Constantly learning from all of these challenges and objections that we face.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think just a little shout out as well to the I guess our hiring community. Thanks for the patience when we are implementing changes.
Can we do one last shout out, actually, now that you've done that, Finn? You've reminded me. Thanks to our amazing HR team.
Yeah, definitely.
Particularly Shreya, Hannah, and now Juhi. We don't always get it right when it comes to some parts of the onboarding experience, but we are really trying, and we're very grateful for everything that you do to kind of help us make sure that we get everything the way it should be.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
Wider than just this team. We get there.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Thank you again, Nicola, Finn, and Danielle. Thank you for jumping on, and I'm really glad that you guys have all taken part in this to help me wrap up season 1 of the Life at Leyton podcast.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
No, you're welcome. It's good fun. It's good fun. I love doing it. And thank you to everyone for listening along at home. I hope you all enjoyed that chat as much as we all did, hopefully. So we're going to be back next year, which is exciting, with season 2 of the Life at Leyton podcast. podcast. But until then, if you're one of the members in our talent community and you are interested in finding out more about what the future might look like at Leyton, please reach out to one of us here in the talent acquisition team. I'll put our details in the description below, or check out our careers page for the roles that we have live currently. We'll be back again next year.
So shall we do a little jingle bells or a little rocking around the Christmas tree? My sleigh bells are ringing.
Danielle's like, get me off this podcast.
Nobody wants to hear me singing. Really.
All right, thanks guys, thank you for listening. This has been the Life at Leyton podcast. Right.
Woo!
Woo! Oh, that was cute.